All right, homework 5, microcode and implementing it. We've done a little bit of a lecture on how some of the fetch works. I think that was not the last lecture, but the one before that. And I want to take a close look at the microcode homework. This is probably the first of 2 homeworks on microcode. But I want to walk through the file that I'm giving you and start looking at the details of that implementation. This is due April 20th, and it's about half the instructions to be implemented in the microcode. The first piece of this, and I'm giving you this file, is the declarations for all the wires that you can have in the microcode. The declarations are all the lines that you have access to. There's a couple that are left out, but they don't have any utility whatsoever in here. So these are the ones that are actually useful for building the machine. The example that I gave you, I've actually implemented the microcode, burned it to hardware, and actually run instructions. So not only does it work in the emulator, it actually works in the real world, provided you've got the right microcode to control the machine. So most of the things that you see in the microcode are registers, and I'll highlight all of the registers in here. Let's make it so that you can see the whole thing. And all of these guys are all the registers. And they're in some different colors, but when I click on them, it'll make them all red. And those guys all have essentially the same set of capabilities. Now, not all of those capabilities are used. For instance, the IR register has under the covers an increment line, but there's nowhere where we ever use it, and consequently it's not exposed. But all of those guys are registers, and they all work about the same way. The only real difference is the microcode one up here is 8-bit, all the others are 16-bit registers. There's the ALU, which does calculations for us. And there is this handout line right here that allows us to just pick off the X or the hand from the instruction register. And there is this decoder mux over here. The decoder mux has 4 inputs that are 8 bits wide that get controlled with these 2 control lines and 1 output. When you actually run things in the mux, it'll show up with the value up here, and it'll tell you inside the mux which line you have selected. So those are kind of the pieces that make this all happen. The rest of it is all the microcode that controls what goes on.